During a high school class project, my teacher told me it's unrealistic being a CEO. It's been my dream to be a CEO since I was 10, so I told her it is realistic. Follow me on my journey to learn what it takes to become a CEO.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Realistic CEO Podcast. Today I'm here with Charles Evans. How you doing today, Charles?
What's up? What's going on?
So the first question I want to ask you is, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so basically, we're a professional basketball team. We play in the American Basketball Association. A lot of people know the American Basketball Association off of the ABA back in the day with Dr. J, Moses Malone, Rick Barry, George Iceman Gervin. Can't forget George Iceman Gervin. Mr. Fingero. But yeah, so that's the league that we play in. Joe Newman resurrected it, brought it back, and now we're just building. And from there, I really wanted to bring it home and make sure that the guys here in town get an opportunity to be a part of that. We had a couple teams before me, but I'm here now at the helm of things and kind of doing it my way and kind of just making it, bigger than what I can take it.
So can you tell us a little bit about your journey to how you got to where you are today?
Interesting. Yeah, so I'm a kid from Mason Square, born and raised on Andrew Street. I went to Homer Street Elementary School, middle school Kennedy. I'm gonna pause there because that's where my realistic situation or conflict happened on my end. I had a teacher in middle school. Her name was Miss Latney, and she told me we had to do this group project in paper that had a bunch of different categories that stated, whether or not what you want to be when you grow up in the future. And my goal was plain and simple: no school, no nothing, basketball. I wanted to be in the NBA. I even drew me with a jersey on, number 10 and everything, for the Celtics and stuff like that. And she told me, she said, I don't think at this stage she was trying to put me down, but I think she was telling me to dream more realistic. And it's a double-edged sword in a sense, because she told me that I'll never make it to the NBA. And not only that, the chances of me making it to the NBA was 1 in a million and all of this. So as a kid, it hurt me, but at the end of the day, I understood it, and especially where I'm at now. So basically, I took that information. I said, no, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be making more money than you, and I'm gonna be doing all of this. I gave her a back flap in school, and I just never liked her. But as I got older, I understood what she was saying, and I don't think she meant it in a harm's way, but I think she was telling me, being a minority man from the area, and the way I was in middle school was no good. So I didn't really care about schoolwork and school like that. I was just all about basketball. And God gave me a second chance to where I was able to I played against NBA players. So from there, I went to Sci Tech. From middle school, I went to Sci Tech, high school science technology. And from high school science technology, I went to Holyoke. Played basketball all throughout, but my grades were bad. So I ended up failing off the team at Holyoke, and we weren't really recruited out of Sci Tech. So grades came out, we played 1.5 a season there. I basically just was done with everything, and I just refused to give up on basketball. So I prayed for a second chance. I went down south. I went down to Florida, Jacksonville. A brother of mine was in the military. He got stationed in Mayport. So I said, I'm out of here. Went down there. It was like 6 of us on a one bedroom apartment. I was sleeping on the floor, but I didn't care. I was just like, nah, I just got to be out of here. And when I got down there, I went to every single school out there, and I said, listen, here's my transcripts. I just want to play basketball. And JU, Jacksonville University, which is Division I practiced with the guys. I was killing them too, but they was like, I have to get my associate's degree because I already my clock started at Holyoke Community College. So I had to get my associate's degree in order to play, and I never took the SAT or the ACT. I never did. And so they said I would need to do that in order to play. So then I went to UNF, same thing, University of North Florida. Then I went to a HBCU, Edward Waters, which is now a university, but at the time it was Edward Waters College in Jacksonville, Florida. They said they could give me 3 years and I could play right now. And I have to get my associate's degree. So what happened was, with that, I'm not a school guy, so I said, you give me 3 years on the court, I'm good. But I ended up taking school serious, graduated Sigma Beta Delta International Business Honor Society. I got recruited my junior year to go play overseas and represent the USA in Italy. I won a gold medal. They wanted me to stay, offer me a contract and everything. And I said, no, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the States and finish my degree because school was the thing that stopped me. And it's crazy because I realize now in my journey that had I taken school serious and had I did school, I could have accomplished my dream of going to the NBA because I would have had the grades to match my talent. And that's the sauce that a lot of us basketball players don't really understand or know. So it kind of throws everything off. We think that, oh, we could just get recruited out off of our talent. We good. We're so good that we're going to go. But you don't realize to go D1, you have to have, at the time, my grade point average was a 1.67. That's all you needed to play sports. I think now they raised it to like a 2.0 or something like that. But D1, you needed like a 2.5, even at that time. And, you know, that's not really a bad thing. That's like a C plus average. So that puts you in the mindset of where we were and our thinking at that time and what we were doing. And I don't regret it because, again, I got my second chance. And from those endeavors, once I graduated Sigma Beta Delta, I ended up going overseas to Italy. I went back over there, had a contract, stuff like that, won gold medals. Then I went to Switzerland, down the coast. And then from Switzerland, I came back to the States, played in Buffalo, New York in the PBL. Then from there, I went to Tahiti. So my basketball journey has taken me all around the world. And not only that, I got a chance to compete, like I was saying earlier, compete against, I broke George Hill's record in Tahiti, played against this guy, like legit. So we were going back and forth. He had 3 dunks in the game and I had 5. And I went at him because my mindset was, I want to see if I could have played in the NBA or just, you know, get that. But God has always shown me that might not have been your path or I had it for you, but you didn't do the necessary things to get that. And it's not a bad thing. I'm still going to show you different. In this path now is a great path because now I came back. Oh, once I came back from overseas, D. Brown, he was the coach of Springfield Armor. That was a G League team. D. Brown is from Jacksonville, Florida. He went to JU before being drafted by the Celtics. And that's Mr. So I talked with him on the phone, literally. Like I know him, Artis Gilmore, all of them down south. I know them. So when I talked to D. Brown, I said, D. Brown, hey, you in my hometown, I'm in yours. So it's kind of like one of those things, well, where you went to college and stuff at. So it's like, hey, man, like, I want to come back and play. And this was around the time that I was in Italy. So I had flew back home and they gave me tickets to the game. This was when Antoine Walker was on the team. So I was like, Antoine Walker playing? Like, I know him. He's a Celtics legend. A lot of people don't really know Antoine Walker like that because he got outshadowed by Paul Pierce. But a lot of people do know Antoine Walker because, you know, his story, bankruptcy and all of that stuff when it came to business and his money. But on a different side, I'm dropping some jewels. But I went there. I went to the Mass Mutual Center. I was going around with the team and everything like that, talking with D. Brown. We sat down and stuff like that. And I said, okay, once my season's over, I'm coming back home. I get back over there, they're gone. I get a call, they packed up, they went to Maine. I'm like, no way, like, no. So I took that as a sign. Again, I'm a spiritual dude, I get by myself, I'm real spiritual. So I said, okay, that's a sign. I'm not supposed to go back home to play. So I just started hooping, like I said, bouncing around, went to Tahiti and stuff like that. So I'm just playing. And I'm like, whatever you got for me is what you got for me. I'm okay with it. At this stage, I wasn't even supposed to be playing college basketball because once my eligibility was up ticking, I didn't know how it all went. So I got my second chance. I'm just happy and glad to be a part. But when that happened, I ended up coming back home, and then I played in the ABA, and the guy was like, man, you from the birthplace of basketball? He was like, I'm gonna call Joe, like Joe Newman, he's the owner. You guys got a team up there? The team just got out, which was Western Mass Zombies. But they had got out of the ABA and joined the ECBL. So I said, cool. Called up Joe, said, yeah, you want the market? I said, yeah, sure. What do I got to do? So I paid the fee and all of that stuff. And he was just like, you got it. So I was like, okay. I sat down and planned. I didn't announce it I just sat down. I planned, and strategized, created a blueprint, and was just like, you know what? Here we go. Once that picture was there, I said, I put up a post that said, I'm coming. Like, I'm bringing the team back home. So I realized I wasn't supposed to come back home to be a player. I was supposed to come back home to be an owner. And that alone right there, I get goosebumps every single time because that's crazy to me, you know? And now being the first African American to own a professional basketball team, or minority to own a professional basketball team in Springfield, Mass, is huge. Like, this is the birthplace of basketball. This is where the game actually started. So, and then it's like me. So it's like, yo, like, you know, who am I? But I realized, like, nah, this was destiny, and this is God, you know, this is God's plan. So what I realized with different paths in our lives, like, I feel like I just watched a movie the other day, and it was about, like, going different journeys. So I feel like we all have a bunch of different paths laid out. And it was seeing yourself on a different path, doing a different thing with different families and stuff like that. I forgot what that movie was, but I liken that unto what's going on with us right now. Like, this path that I'm on right now is basically like the ownership path of a professional team. So no, I didn't get a chance to be a professional basketball player, but I'm a professional basketball owner. And my dream realistically was realistic, but it was achieved through a different means. So I feel like we have to keep our minds and stuff open to, you know, different paths and different outlets of it. It may not look like what we want at that time, but it's still along that line. There's a void there. There's something inside of you that's saying, no, this is for me. So like when you said, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur or a CEO, there's something inside of you that's like, no, like, you're going to do it. Now, you don't know in what that's gonna take you over the top. It could be anything, but you're gonna be a CEO at something. So I respect it, but I know that was a little bit long-winded, but
So going back to the beginning, when you said you weren't really taking your grades serious, you just care about sports. Like, that is a big thing that a lot of athletes do need to understand about. Because, like, a lot of athletes, they see, yeah, they're good on the court. Nobody can stop them on the court, but you're stopping yourself in the academics, where when you're not taking your grades serious, when college coaches are trying to look and scout people, you're good on the court, but when they check to see that you're not even eligible to be recruited, like, can you tell us, like, how that's really important as an athlete?
Man, that hurts a lot of athletes that I don't think they realize it. And I see it heavy in the basketball side. And that's a part of my initiative now with giving back. It's more so, you know, I want to hit the high schools, because realistically it starts in ninth grade. As soon as you start in ninth grade, your GPA starts. So what you do that freshman year affects your senior year. And with me just being a joke kind of in the classroom, and I feel like I wasn't a bad kid in the classroom. What happened was I'm kind of like I learned at my own pace, I should say. You know, if I have a question for a teacher at that moment, and if that teacher don't answer that question and moves on, I'm still stuck at that point. But the class and everybody's already up there because they got it. So if the teacher didn't get me, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm stuck. So now I start acting up because it's not that I'm a bad kid. I'm just like, hey, like, I'm stuck here, come back here. So if I can't get it, nobody's gonna get it. And there's a little bit of selfish, but as a kid, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do. And that was just a part. So I came off as a bad kid in school. I wouldn't listen or this, that. I stayed suspended because I was getting in trouble. But realistically, what I understand now is that I was upset at the fact that I'm stuck. Like, my brain is right here. I need answers. Like, you built me up and got me here. Now I'm stuck here. It's just, I can't figure this out. I can't understand it. So I started acting up, and I feel like a lot of kids are in those moments. So when I do teaching, I actually taught too in a high school down south during a lot of the little melee and during COVID and stuff like that. But what I did was, I got this method that I do, you do, we do. So I'll do it first to show you, you do it next to show me that you understood what I said or taught you, and then we'll do it together. And then that way I know those three things, you're solid, you got it. So that's how I kind of operate with everything, even on the basketball court. And what I'm noticing now, like I'm a teacher because I'm a certified life coach as well. And with certain people like coaches, I have a hard time with coaches because coaches look at a lot of kids like, you should already know this. Like, you're supposed to be a pro at this level. This is something that you learn, like, let's just say the 3-man weave. You will learn that in like elementary school or like AAU. But so if you don't know the 3-man weave at a professional level, some coaches look at you like, what are you doing here? Like, but it's like, you can't take that approach because they may not have taught that to them through the different programs that they went through, or they may genuinely don't know, or they might have got stuck at a point where they had a question on how to do the 3-man weave that nobody explained it to them, and they're still at that point, but they're just older now. So people mess that up a lot, and I'm really meticulous in detail. Like, so I can, be around you for a little while, talk with you for a little while, and see exactly where you at. And I always see everybody as their kid version self. Like, I feel like we're all just our kid version selves, just older. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, that's the main thing with me, just being a teacher. Now that I'm able to understand a lot. But in order for me to get that, I had to learn myself. I really had to dig deep in who I was, go to them dark places, go to pull them skeletons out of that closet and really understand, like, nah, you can't blame nobody but yourself. I messed up my grades. I messed up school. I didn't take it serious. I had my basketball shorts under all my sweatpants ready to play. I was skipping classes. I was doing all of that. And regardless of the excuse, I still was doing it. I had a choice, and I made my choice. But, I'm here to say, too, that, I got a second chance. A lot of my friends, a lot of people just that I know didn't get a second chance. It's just over for them. Some in the grave, some locked up, and that's just the area and the place that we come from,
So can you, for a kid that wants to grow up and be an athlete, what is some advice that you would give to them to make sure that as an athlete you're doing the right type of work to make sure that you get to where you want to get to?
The main advice was the same work ethic you have on the court, have in the classroom, have in life. Apply it to every single area of your human being. So basically, if you work I'm going to the court. Okay, 6 a.m., get up, spend an hour in the court, and then spend an hour in your classroom. Read a book. Read a book. It don't even have to be about anything. Just pick up a book and read it. We don't read. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with your audience and everything like that. I really dug into reading when my mother-in-law has sent me this email. Well, she sent it to my wife and I read it. And she was like, the email had read that if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. And the reason why black people don't read. And I said, that struck a chord with me. It's not even about race. I love everybody. I'm for everybody, legit. But that struck a chord with me because I was like, you can't be mad at that. That's the truth. I was getting the basketball going outside. I was outside all day and night, coming back into when the street lights came on, a little after, it's just dirty and muddied up. I hated reading books. But when I started reading books and loving it, I said, man, I don't even watch the TV. The book that I'm reading right now is the Savannah Bananas. The owner that runs the Savannah Bananas. I'm reading his book right now. Literally, he's from Massachusetts and everything. I read, but reading to me has turned now into my TV. So I can read your stories and stuff like that and just imagine it and bring it to life. And I feel like that is the best form of meditation. That is the best form of everything, reading. And that's what I would tell the kids too. Like I said, put in the same amount of effort that you're gonna put into your craft to everything in your life. Because basically what you're doing is you show up to practice. When you gotta go to practice, you're there at practice. If I say practice at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna show up. Then I say we're having 2-a-days, you're gonna show up at 6 o'clock p.m. You're gonna make those practices. But during that time in between those practices, what are you doing? Are you sleeping? Are you just chilling? Are you hanging out? What? And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to apply that same work ethic to your life. And once you condition yourself, habit. You create a habit. Habits are what type of habits, self-evaluation, what type of habits are you training yourself with? You know, what are you doing to yourself? Mm-hmm. And I just basically did that to myself, and now I could teach that to, you know, young kids coming up and young people, because I done been on all sides of the spectrum, literally.
So can you like tell us a little bit about like the process of owning your own team, like buying the team? Like,
I got you. So once I had connected with Joe Newman and a guy named Brad, I told him I was gonna play with him. Mm-hmm. I was like, you ain't gotta pay me or anything, you know. I'm coming out here. I'm gonna hoop for you. He was like, for real, man? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna play because I appreciate you throwing me the lob for this. So I played a few games. We ended up winning, and they were getting ready to go to the playoffs. This is the only part that I feel bad about, because when they were going to the playoffs, I was coming back home. Mm-hmm. So I didn't go to the games, and they ended up losing by a couple of points. And it was like, man, I knew we would have had you, but I appreciated him because I felt like it was my time to really go back home and own this team. So now bringing this team here, I reached out to everybody that I knew in my childhood. And at this point in time, I've been out of Springfield for 16 years. So I don't know any of the layout of the land, where people are now, stuff like that. So I'm watching online, you know, who's doing what in the community, and I reached out to everybody. I called and said, hey, listen, I'm bringing a team back. Some didn't believe me. They're like, Rel, you bringing a team back? You own a professional team? I'm like, yeah, no, I do. So they didn't believe me. I didn't charge it to them, but I was just like, I get, your brain can't fathom it, because you know me pre-Jacksonville or pre-Florida. And me pre-Florida at the age of 20, I was a wild boy from 15 to, I mean, just period, you know what I'm saying? Just doing, not necessarily bad things, but doing things that for attention, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? The wrong type of attention, and I got it. But getting back on track, 16 years removed from Springfield, now I'm coming back and saying, hey guys, I own the team. Everybody's looking at me like, whoa, hold up. Some people don't even know me. Some people do know me, and then they thinking, oh, well, are you the same 20-year-old like that we knew before? Like, no, you know? So these past couple of years, we're going into season 3 now. So it's been a grind, it's been a challenge, but I'm showing up. I'm popping up, I'm here, I'm putting the work in the LBW. So I do that, you know what I'm saying? Like I really grind, because I understand, and like I said, I have a plan. So the plan is far out, so I already know where I'm going. And I always say, if you don't got a plan, you know, you're just a boat in open water doing circles trying to hit the destination. See, me, I know my finish line is over there, so I'm on my path of my blinders. A lot of people's out there in the water just kind of, they don't have no navigation system, because that plan is your navigational system, you know? So at the end of the day, I'm not knocking anybody, but I'm just here to, you know, spread my story, my journey, and give back to my community. That's the main thing with me, you know? Giving kids the opportunity to see professional basketball. I didn't get that chance. And with Springfield Fame, which was the first Springfield team that was here, I was too young, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know or remember any of them. A lot of people do. I honored them at one of our games, though. I showed love because Nancy Lieberman, she did a video for us. She was the first female to play on the men's professional basketball team and stuff like that for Springfield Fame. And they won a championship their first year. So that's stuff that should be celebrated, you know, and not trying to step on anybody's toes, but just trying to, you know, do my thing and kind of bring my spin to it and bring my community to it, and let them know, like, yo, we here, we love basketball, we're good at it too.
So one thing I want to talk about is how you said your path, you knew that you wanted to do something, you wanted to be a professional basketball player, but that you wanted to be a basketball player turned into you owning your own teams. Like, how were you able to shift your mindset from I want to be a player to I want to own a team?
See, you know what's crazy, right? When I played in Italy, I had my own clothing line. Mm-hmm. So I had my own clothes. I always wanted to be an owner. Like, I always was an entrepreneur at heart, legit. Even in the streets, you know what I'm saying? At Holyoke, in different places, I was an entrepreneur, let's just say. So and I understood it. I understood entrepreneurial. So I always had that spirit. But when I was in Italy, I had a clothing line. I like to draw. Like I said, I'm artsy and stuff like that. So I had my own clothing line. I named it Reliano Couture. And overseas, they called me the fly guy because I like to dress. Mm-hmm. Everything has to match and stuff like that. So they called me the fly guy. So I had my brand, Reliano Couture, the fly guy. Got a trademark and everything. And my daughter, she actually has her own shoe. They gave me my own shoe line. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I'm not finna compete with LeBron, Jordan, and all of them. There's no way. So I'm like, okay, I'll name it after my daughter. So I named it Leah, and she has her own shoe line. And I just put it in her name and stuff like that, and we just go from there. But the main thing was basketball was just fun. It was my passion. I knew I was good, and I wanted to prove to everybody else that I was good. So I wanted to show you I'm good. You say, oh, well, you suck. Okay, I'm going to prove it to you I don't suck. I want to show you, and I'm going to go 10 times hard, too. I'm not just going to prove you wrong. I'm going to just trample and keep going on it. So, and that was the main thing. But it just kind of, like I said, the path of playing and the path of owning just kind of, it just went like this. And it was just like, once I realized in order to go to the NBA, you have to have the right agents. You have to play D1. Playing D1 does help, but it really is limited. So it's kind of like tighter than getting recruited out of high school for basketball. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't no big time name, legit, I came out of the era with LeBron, Melo, all of them, 04, 05, 03, 04-ish. I graduated in 2004, so that was my class. Dwight Howard, D-Wade, and all of them. D-Wade was a little bit older, but if you was no big time name like that, it's kind of like slim picking. So you got to make the most of it and be a professional basketball player. But I've always wanted to own something. I was always in business, dabbling in business, hustling and stuff like that. And basketball was just something I did. But I feel like by me not going to the NBA, the path that God kind of, because like I said, it happened. Mm-hmm. And Brad is a real spiritual guy. He's a pastor down south. He owns a St. Augustine team. So he said, Charles, listen, I'm going to put you on. So I just feel like it was God's doing. That kind of was like, this is your next area. This is where you're going. This is what we're doing.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey of playing overseas professionally?
Man, it was fun. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like that right there, that took the cake because, like I said, I didn't know I was gonna be able to get back on the court after college, after I failed out at Holyoke. So for me to get back in college, and the first time I got recruited, it was like 2010, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And it was just to represent the USA with a bunch of other college kids. They picked a couple of college kids. I went over there based on our stats. I remember my coach coming in, giving me the letter. All my players on the team was like, he's not even our leading scorer. I was like, but that's your problem. You think scoring is everything. I was the cleanup guy, and I had my highlights. I knew my point guard was going to miss layups and stuff like that, so I'm going to crash the boards. Why? Because, again, I'm good at numbers. I'm a math guy. So he missed a layup. I come, put it back, a dunk. That's 2 points. That's a rebound because it's a putback, and it's a highlight. So people's like, everybody's cheering and excited. But I'm like, that's a 3-and-1 play. And y'all not looking at basketball. I analyze stuff. I break stuff down like that. So I do that like 3 or 4 times in the game. I'm already at like 8 points. And I can shoot, so I'll hit a 3 and stuff. I'm at double digits now. And then the rebounds, while y'all just missing layups, I may not be putting stuff back. I may just be grabbing a rebound, kicking out, grabbing it. Now I have a double-double. I'm averaging a double-double in college. Like, we played University of North Florida, the school, as like an exhibition game, D1. I went crazy on them. I think I had like 16 and 11. It's on YouTube and everything. But it's kind of like, I know if I would have played, like I said, God gives me those little nuggets. Like, he'll allow me to play on these courts and play against these people to say, like, you could have been there. You could have done it. But he knows my heart, too, where it's kind of like, I'm just excited to be here. Like, I'm just a hooper, and I'm having fun. Like, that's the main thing with everything that I tell everyone. Just have fun with your passion. Have fun. Don't make it a chore. Like, because when you're having fun, sky's the limit. Like you, especially with creatives, it's like when I say, hey, listen, you got to do it this way. You kind of feel like, but then when nobody's telling you to do anything, and then you're just like, oh snap! Like I just came up with this, I came up with that concept. Oh man, this is dope. It's the freedom of everything. So that's kind of like what overseas, I wanted to put you in the mindset of that feeling. That it's that feeling right there. Everybody coming up to you, oh man, can I take a picture? Da, 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 da. So we taking a picture. I'm like, I'm happy to be here. I'm looking at the room, I'm at the Coliseum. I'm at all of that stuff. I got pictures and everything. And I'm sitting back like, man, these people are treating me like a king out here. And all I'm doing is playing basketball. But then when I go back to America, my hometown, they're like, oh, that's just real. That's da, 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 da. But I'm like, no. And then even in Tahiti, they gave me the nickname Aito. It's French Polynesian over there, and Aito means warrior. And I got a tattoo right here of a tiki, which is like their god and stuff like that, and all of that. It's like a tiki god. That's what they do over there. It's different, but they love me in Tahiti, man. Like my jersey's still selling now, and it's a crazy thing because, like, Italy was more like monumental buildings and stuff. Tahiti was like outdoor ocean surfing. They got black sand. I ain't never seen black sand in my life. I'm like, this is black sand. We had our own private beaches and everything, but the black sand took over, and that's just one of the things, like, you know, just being able to enjoy that, and they love, like I said, they love me over there. Like that feeling, it humbles me coming back home, but having that feeling is just something different, man. It's like, I want that for everybody. Even all my players, I tell them, I say, listen, I really want you to experience this. And not to fast forward it, but we just won a championship in San Juan, Puerto Rico, by Amon. I got the chance to take my players down there. So by me taking them down there, some of them ain't never been overseas. Ain't never been international. I never been to Puerto Rico, San Juan, but us going there and actually winning, gold medal, trophy, everything. I guarantee that's an experience that they're gonna live with for the rest of their life. And that to me makes all of this worth it. Not money, not none of that stuff. That right there, that feeling, that experience, and for me to be the one that provide that to them, like, that's dope to me. You know what I'm saying? That's like, that's that right there is like, nah, because I wish somebody would have did that for me. And for me to be the one that's doing it for others, like, there's no greater feeling than that. Like, it's a great thing. So to answer your question, basically, it's all of that. That's what it's like playing overseas. Like, that's what that journey, like, it's just all of that feeling right there, man. The love, it just makes you want to keep going.
Like, can you give like some tips or advice to somebody that might want to own their own team in the future?
Oh, absolutely. As far as anybody wanting to own a team, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of grit, a lot of grind, a lot of you know, dog days, a lot of tired days, a lot of, you know, heartbreak and all of that good stuff. But for the most part, you know, it's worth it. You got to be willing to put the time in. You can't just lollygag with it.
So in the book, Tony, he talks about the LBW, the long lonely born. Yeah. So can you tell us about that work that you just said? How, like, the dog days it's gonna be lonely. So can you tell us about that?
So, like, again, coming up, dealing with different mindsets of people. Like, I have core values for my team. I'll just give you this example real quick. It's elite, elevate, leadership, integrity, teamwork, excellence. A lot of basketball teams don't have core values, but the reason why I have core values is because I know these guys are dealing with family issues, personal issues, all kind of issues, and they might be triggered coming into practice and upset, and they can cause the whole atmosphere to change. And then what I'm noticing with the group is one person can affect all the people. Now we having a bad practice and stuff like that. As a professional, you don't have time for that. It's like, do your job, get in, get out, and then do that. But I know this, so I say our core values before practice, so that way they can, whatever they're going through, their mindset will shift. So now I can get their full focus during practice, and then whatever you got to pick it up after the door, after the car. But for this amount of time, I need your full undivided attention. So that's some long, boring work on that end, getting guys to buy into that concept and to actually do that. And then with me, I travel. Like, I'm on a plane more than I'm basically in the car in some months, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's like I have to leave my family, take my family and do all of that stuff and just boom, boom, boom. And it's like Like, that's tiring. And then there's some days where you know what you're going into, and you know the guys, and you know the families, and you know the backflap that you're gonna get, you know the forces that's gonna be against you, and it's kind of like, is it worth it? But then I gotta hit that switch and say, I'm not doing it for me, and I gotta understand my name. So 413 Elite stands for Elevating Life in the East. That alone, that acronym, think about that task. That's my task. My task is to elevate life in the East, not just Springfield, the East. And now you're dealing with a whole coast and a whole bunch of different mindsets and people. And even on the basketball court, the other team owners don't like me. I'm a minority owner, I'm young, I'm flashy, they say, but I'm myself. They don't like that. I don't fit the mold. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? But I'm just like, nah. So I'm against those forces. I'm against, I'm not against, but different people. And I'm reaching out to everybody like, no, I want to work with you. I want to work with you. I want to work with you. Hey, I'm bringing something. This is good for everybody. Let's do it. It's just like, nah. So that heartbreak, I'm used to it. Give me my nose up front. I'm looking for nose. Because the nose builds you up. The yeses, I appreciate the yeses, but the nose, to be able to look me in my eyes, because that's the worst thing anybody could ever do to you is tell you no. And you will never know that if you don't ask. So it's like, no. Will you be a part or will you not? You can tell me no, but when you start like approaching everything like that, you'll see the right people and this, that, and third. Man to man, like if I can't do it, I can't do it. I appreciate it. Hey, I appreciate that no more than anything because you kept it real up front. You didn't leave me on, you didn't have me hanging and all of that. So just understanding all of that, that's the long-born work, the forces and all of that, not taking those no's to the heart and all of that and giving up. There is no give up. There's like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm all in. And like I said, I'm gonna put the time in like I did with the with basketball. So everything that I do, I gotta go hard. I have to. Whether that's planning, whether that's on the court, whether that's talking to people, just doing this interview, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna give you my all every single time. That's just the type of person I am because I built myself up to be that. So, and that's what I tell everybody, especially with us, we have to do that. And it's like, because there's people watching us that look like us, that see us in these CEO different positions, and they're like, no, like, I can do it and I don't have to change or I don't have to do this or I don't have to do that. Like, nah, they're doing it. And it's like, yeah, just be yourself. Because like I said, again, that brings me back to earlier point. You're free. You're having fun. You're creating. You're natural. You're not like, oh man, I gotta be this way or be that way. Nah, I can be myself. I be loose, man. And that's the main thing.
So how have you been able to develop your mindset throughout the years to go from I don't care about school to end up stop your professional career to make sure that you're getting your degree?
Man, it was God. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was my faith in God. When I left Springfield, I had just got arrested downtown and I got hit in the head with a bottle at a bar. And my mom was like, it's time for you to go. I went down south and I remember praying. I went to the beach at night. I met my wife. She was working at the school, FSCJ at the time. And I met her there. When I got to Jacksonville, I was like, listen, I don't know nobody. She was like, you from North, this, that, and third? I can help you get in school. So she helped me and stuff, showed me around, connected me with the basketball coach and stuff. And they couldn't do anything because it was a junior college. So I said, that's fine. I just got to get back. But we ended up going to the beach at night. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was July 6th. And we went to the beach, 2006. We went to the beach at night. And I remember just looking out into the ocean. I was like, I'd never even been to the beach. Even though leaving here, I never went to New Hampshire Beach and all of that. Like Springfield was like, if you wasn't Springfield, Connecticut, like that was it. New York sometimes. That was like a field trip to New York, even though it's 2 hours away. But that was it. So that beach at night, it shifted. And I just remember thinking that I don't want to do anything that I was doing before here. I want to be who I really am. And that's what I realized. I don't want to keep doing the same thing. I don't want to get down here and start doing some of the things that I was doing up north. I just want to be myself, learn, and be great. And then that's it. So for the most part, I was just doing that, and that was the main thing. So just getting peace with myself, understanding myself, learning myself, and getting quiet time, and just becoming who I was. And after that, can nobody really tell me anything. In my spiritual guidance, that was it. That was the main thing.
The last question I want to ask you is like, what's a fun fact about yourself that like nobody really knows?
Well, people know that one. A lot of people love that. I used to chew paper in high school, right? To say, because it make you jump higher. So everybody know me for that. You say that in Rel, they gonna know, like, that's real Rel right there. It's just to make you jump higher. But a silent fact about me is just, man, it's a good question. That I don't think nobody knows is that, jeez, I mean, something that nobody knows. I don't know. That's a good one. Like that's a good one, because I didn't even think about that one. But I just know, like, I'm kind of like an open book, and everybody that know me, I'm a funny guy. Like I talk, like what you see is what you get, legit. So we chopping it up. A lot of people that just met me don't know that my old school name was Toe Jam. They would know that, and it's not because of my feet. Everybody thought it was because of my feet. It was because my granddad used to call me Tojo, and my uncle Ashley, he was like, nah, you can't walk around the hood calling you Tojo. We gotta call you Toe Jam. So that's how that came about. But for the most, a lot of 2000 when I came back from, a lot of the new agers didn't know. Like if I just met you recently in these couple past years, you wouldn't have known that story. So the new Rel, a lot of people don't know, but you know, that was some of the old school facts that a lot of people in the neighborhoods and all of that know me by, and just some fun facts, man. I don't know.
Thank you for coming on today. Appreciate
man, no doubt.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Thank
this
you.
is a good thing, a blessing, man. And Realistic CEO, man, keep it up, keep up your journey. Any inspiration words that I could tell you is just, you know, don't stop. Take it all the way, regardless of what that looks like. Take it all the way for you. Feel like you emptied out the tank on it. You know what I'm saying? When you feel like, yo, I gave it my all, this, that, and the third. That's that, but my advice to you is just go all out, man.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Realistic CEO podcast. See you guys in the next one. Peace.